So we were talking about, well, you just said something interesting. You said that Crimes and Misdemeanors, the Woody Allen film, was one of, why is it your favorite Woody Allen film?
Well, I love Woody Allen. I love watching him. I watch him in anything. Him and the actor Ricky Gervais, the English actor, I could watch them in anything. I just love them. And they reflect the way I feel about the world, which is frustrated. Like, both of them are constantly, like, put upon and frustrated. And that's how I view the world, which is maybe ungrateful and unappreciative of things, but that's, I don't know.
I'd like to see you in a Woody Allen movie.
Oh, thanks.
Would you like to do one?
Well, you know, I like to work on anything I like. You know, I love Woody Allen's movies. Yeah, of course. You know, I like to be involved with anything I feel like is good, and then I feel like I could do something with. You know, he makes still the best movies, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that would be a good match,
yeah.
Actually. All right, so I know you get asked this question, but what happened when I saw The Social Network was that I became fascinated with Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I really did. I became obsessed.
Yeah.
And I suddenly was reading everything about him. I was looking at all the video online, and of course there ended up being an awful lot of video online because what happened, as everyone sort of anticipated, was that he went on a sort of counter-campaign. Were you fascinated by watching what Zuckerberg was doing to sort of counteract your portrayal of Zuckerberg?
Yeah, I can't say that I watched it without a hint of guilt. You know, it didn't occur to me while we were shooting because I was so excited to be part of this wonderful thing that there's this real person that may be really uncomfortable about what we're doing. As we just touched upon, I don't like watching myself in my own movies. I can only imagine what it must be like to watch a portrayal of myself where I don't have any control over it.
Yeah.
And so when he kind of went on a, you know, his own kind of, you know, very, you know, comparatively brief publicity tour, I did feel like a bit like I was putting somebody in an uncomfortable position, or at least part of something that put somebody in an uncomfortable position, and I felt a little bad about it. But he couldn't have dealt with it in a more kind of honorable way. I can only imagine that this must be a terribly uncomfortable experience. It's an uncomfortable experience for me, and I acted in the movie. So I have a great affection for him and for how he's dealt with this.
So you were basically creating a character that had been written by Aaron Sorkin that was on the page.
That's right.
And that was your responsibility. And did you have a lot of debates with Fincher and Sorkin about how you would portray Zuckerberg?
Well, we didn't really have a lot of debates because that would imply that there was kind of two sides to it. We had a lot of great discussions about, you know, David Fincher was insistent upon my character not kind of having a movie redemption. I mean, Aaron didn't write that, but you know, I guess my instincts. I'm a very emotional person, so I think my instincts sometimes may be inclined to maybe play it in a way that might be more sympathetic, and you know, David Fincher directed me in a way that was more, I would say, authentic. You know, the character in the movie has a great difficulty understanding how he is affecting other people emotionally, and how, more importantly, he's affected emotionally by his interpersonal interactions. And I think because he doesn't fully understand how he feels about his interactions emotionally, is that he maybe comes off maybe a bit cold or unsympathetic. And as an actor, you're trained to kind of express yourself as much as possible, and you know, if it calls for it, be histrionic. And this movie and this role required me to kind of suppress all that, which was an interesting experiment to do, but at times a bit confusing because you feel like you're wanting to express yourself and at the same time trying to kind of suppress all of these things that you're trained to do in a way.
My favorite moment in the movie is in the conference room. It's one of the great moments in the movie. I'm not the first one to bring this up, where you're very frustrated and you're very bored and you want to be working on your Facebook. You don't want to be talking to these people and you're staring out the window, just wanting to be anywhere but there. Describe a little bit how you came up with that.
Well, you know, at this point in the movie, when Mark is in these deposition rooms, he is feeling a few different things. I think the first thing he's feeling is that everything he's built is potentially threatened.
Yes.
So he feels very vulnerable. But when Mark in the movie feels vulnerable, he doesn't act in the way that I would act when I feel vulnerable, or a lot of us would act when we feel vulnerable, which is skittish and scared, and trying to please and trying to kind of alleviate the tension in the room. When he feels vulnerable, he withdraws. He withdraws emotionally. He withdraws socially, and when he finally bursts forth with his defense, it's eloquent, it's aggressive, and it's shocking, and it's chilling. And it's such an interesting character. It's completely consistent to me, even though the character acts in a way that may be inconsistent to the other characters in the movie. It's a consistent character. And it was thrilling to film those scenes because it gave me the opportunity to literally defend my character. So
Interesting.
you spend 5 months defending your character in little ways, or thinking about how you would defend your character, and then you actually have, literally a verbal defense, and that kind of explicit rebuttal is thrilling.
So you're saying that one of the reasons I responded to that is because it was such an explosion of emotion.
Yeah.
But in fact, there's the part that I like the best is where he's silent and he's just staring out the window.
Yeah.
Because you just get it. You get it that he wants to be anywhere but there.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark has this wonderfully interesting, in the movie, I don't know the real person, it's important to distinguish, the character has this kind of wonderful inversion. Yeah, when he feels uncomfortable, he just inverts, and he just becomes emotionally detached. I mean, it's such an interesting character, and it's a hard character for a movie. I'm not saying it was a hard job for me, it's a hard character to show an audience because, we're used to seeing people who express themselves in a very kind of obvious way, so that that's not shallow or anything, that's just movie characters that are expressive, are easily understandable to an audience, and this character doesn't have that.